Today we're diving into Hindustan Zinc, a real titan in the global metals market. Their latest quarter wasn't just good, it was absolutely record-shattering. But behind these incredible numbers, there's a much more complex story, a story of strategy, success, and some pretty sobering realities. And you don't have to take my word for it. The company's own CEO, Arun Mishra, put it pretty plainly. This wasn't just business as usual. It was a total blockbuster. So let's actually break down what one of our strongest looks like on a balance sheet. First up, the big one, revenue. The company pulled in a staggering 10,980 crores. That's about 1.3 billion US dollars. This is an all-time high for them in a single quarter, and it was driven by this perfect storm of high production and really favorable market conditions. Next, let's look at EBITDA. Now, you can think of that as a really raw measure of profitability before all the accounting gets involved. And here, they hit their highest number ever, over 6,000 crores. It just shows you how incredibly efficient the business was running. And here is the final punch, the number that really turns heads. Their profit after tax, it surged by a massive 48% compared to just the previous quarter. A jump like that is what gets investors really excited, and it perfectly captures the sheer financial power they unleashed during this period. So numbers like these don't just fall out of the sky, right? There's a powerful engine driving all this success. So how'd they do it? Well, it really boils down to two key things: getting their costs way down and taking full advantage of high prices. Okay, before we go any further, let's quickly unpack a key term you hear a lot in mining: cost of production, or COP. In this industry, this metric is, well, it's everything. It's the total, all-in cost to get one single ton of metal out of the ground and ready to sell. The lower your COP, the bigger your profit margin. It's really that simple. And this is where you can see their mastery of efficiency. Hindustan Zinc managed to push their cost of production all the way down to just $940 a ton. That's the lowest it's been in 5 years. So think about that. While the market was paying top dollar for their zinc, they were producing it cheaper than ever. That is the perfect recipe for record profits. So how did they pull it off? It was really a four-pronged approach. First, they smartly used more domestic coal, which is cheaper. Second, global coal prices also happened to fall, giving them another little boost. Third, they just produced more stuff, which spreads all their fixed costs over a bigger volume. And finally, they earned more from their byproducts, like silver, which helped offset the main cost of producing zinc. Pretty clever stuff. Of course, low costs are only half the story. The other half was that the market was absolutely red hot. Zinc prices shot up to levels we hadn't seen in years, mostly because supply was really tight. And silver, which is a super important byproduct for them, went on an incredible 75% rally year on year. They were firing on all cylinders in a market that was just rewarding them handsomely for it. But, a company isn't just a bunch of numbers on a spreadsheet. To really, truly understand Hindustan Zinc, we have to look beyond the financials. We have to look at the human and ethical sides of the business. Because amidst this historic quarter, there was a profound tragedy. The company lost a worker in an incident at their Rajpura Darba mine. In the earnings call, the CEO's very first words weren't about profits. They were these: expressing deep condolences and making it clear that safety has to be the absolute top priority. It's just a stark reminder of the very real risks of this industry. And this is where the complex reality of modern industry really hits you. In the very same period, the company was ranked #1 in the entire world for sustainability in its sector by S&P Global. And that's for the third year in a row. Having a tragic operational failure on one hand and world-class sustainability awards on the other, it just highlights the immense challenge of balancing industrial scale with human and environmental well-being. So where does a company this big and this complex go from here? Well, the answer really lies in its strategic position right at the heart of the global green energy transition. And they are definitely not standing still. This timeline shows 2 massive projects they already have underway, which tells you a lot about their long-term vision. They're building a new plant to reprocess waste material and a huge new zinc smelter. These are massive investments that signal they're confident in future demand and are set to seriously expand their production capacity for years to come. This slide really connects their products to our future. See, zinc isn't just for protecting steel from rust anymore. It's essential for protecting massive wind turbines and solar farms, and it's a key ingredient in new, safer battery technologies. And silver? Well, its conductivity is basically irreplaceable in solar panels and in pretty much every piece of electronics, especially electric vehicles. These really are metals that matter. And on their home turf in India, they're an absolute powerhouse. Hindustan Zinc controls over 3/4, 77% of the country's primary zinc market. That kind of domestic dominance gives them an incredibly stable foundation and basically makes them a cornerstone of India's industrial and green energy goals. So we end on this crucial question. The world needs more of the metals that companies like Hindustan Zinc produce. We literally can't build a sustainable future without them. But as we've seen, extracting them comes with immense responsibilities. So the ultimate challenge will be navigating this path, powering the green transition while making absolutely sure that the pursuit of profit never outweighs the price paid by people and the planet.